So I know that a lot of you are probably wondering how we would do partial quotient when it has a 2-digit divisor or maybe even a 3-digit divisor. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. This is going to take some number sense, so you might have to go back to one of those prerequisite lessons in the book about getting that number sense of estimating, because they're going to have to do a little bit of that in their head. But I've had kids from all backgrounds and ability levels get this. And so this might still be helpful to those of you who would still like to try partial quotient with your class who might be struggling with long or short division. So what I would do is I would say, okay, 51. I don't know how many times exactly it goes into 358, but I could probably estimate because 51 is really close to 50. So if I did 50 times something like 5, that might get me a big chunk of this 358 gone. So I could say, okay, 51 times 5. Well, maybe I don't know that in my head. So it's totally okay for kids to show some work to the side to try and figure out how close that got them to the 358. And so once they do that, they're going to figure out that the answer is 255. So they're going to see how close that got them and how big of a chunk that took care of. So you have 255. Sorry. And then once they subtract that to see what they're left with, they can see, okay, I have 103 left. Well, that's going to be maybe a little bit better to work with, because most kids could see, well, 51, that's about half of about 103. And if not, then you can always say, okay, well, to the side, let's cover up this one and just think, what if it was a 50? About how many times does 50 go into 100-ish? And then a lot of kids might say, oh, well, it just goes in twice. And then they could work out to the side 51 times 2 if they wanted to. And so then once they do that, they'll see 51 times 2 is 102. Well, man, that got us really close. And then we're going to subtract. And again, we get to a number that is smaller than our divisor. And so that number, we're going to say, okay, well, we know we're almost to the end. That remainder is a 1. And then what am I going to do to figure out this partial quotient? I'm going to add these two partial quotients together, and that is going to give me a 7 for my actual total quotient. So my answer should be 7 remainder 1. And again, if you have to do a prerequisite lesson, again, those are found in the book. And if you're not sure where those are, I can help you find those. And that might help you with the estimating part to be able to divide and to start getting those basic facts to help you over here to the side.